Passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one that you had envisioned for yourself. But honestly, I don't know very many people who are living the life that they envisioned for themselves when they were younger. So there's that. I struggle a lot with anxiety. It's funny because I really never thought of myself as I mean, certainly I had my moments where I would get anxious, but I didn't used to think of myself as an anxious person. And then I started learning about myself and really working on myself. And I realized that not only am I a horribly anxious person, but did y'all know that you can get addicted to anxiety? Isn't that horrible? But it's true. It's kind of like an adrenaline junkie, except not quite as fun. But you get addicted to the biochemistry of it. And I realized, I guess that's about 3 years ago when I started really noticing in a state of anxiety. Uh-oh. And there goes my connection. God, I hate my damn internet here. I hate my internet service provider. They're just not very good. But anyway, um, I don't know where the hell I was when it went out. But you can get addicted to the biochemical makeup of anxiety, which just sucks. And but the good news is once you know that, you can start paying attention and you can start working on it. And It is it is fixable. It is not easy to fix, but it is fixable. This information, by the way, is from the Mayo Clinic and lifehack.org. So, if you're like I used to be, and you're so used to being in a state of anxiety that you don't even realize you're anxious, what does it feel like? What are the symptoms? Fatigue, restlessness, sweats, insomnia. I get horrible. And between that and the pain, I have a really rough time with insomnia. A lot of people will start to tremble. I only do that when I'm like super, super, super stressed. Hypervigilance. Sure. If you're really anxious, you're always waiting for something to happen. You just know something bad's gonna happen. So you're hypervigilant, looking for it, waiting for it. It makes you irritable. Well, sure, you're hypervigilant all the time. You're not sleeping. You have racing, unwanted thoughts. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm still dealing with the damn COVID. Racing unwanted thoughts, and often people get a sensation of an abnormal heartbeat. Now, I used to get those really bad when I would go to the airport, and I like to travel. I don't like the getting from A to B, but I like being at point B. I like being there a lot. I like going to see new places and going to visit my friends. But I used to freak myself out so bad on the way to the airport that if I didn't take a Valium far enough in advance before I left for the airport, I'm only a few miles from the airport, so it's not, you know, I had to really think about this. But on the way there, I would catch myself and my brain would start the unwanted thoughts. Oh my gosh, we're gonna die. Hey, it's anxiety. It doesn't have to be logical. Oh my gosh, we're gonna die, and I don't want to get on this damn plane. And then my heart would start racing and it would kind of go up and down and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing to admit, y'all, but I'd be in the car thinking, oh my gosh, am I having a heart attack? Should I be going to the hospital instead of the damn airport? And I lived like that for a long time. And I've gotten to where it's not really easy for me to fly without anxiety meds because I still have I'm claustrophobic and I don't like airplanes. I just don't like them. But I've gotten a lot better about it. And I certainly don't send myself into a frenzied panic attack on my way to the airport anymore. So, how do you cope? If you're dealing with anxiety, how do you cope? The first thing you need to know is that this too shall pass. And odds are you're going to be just fine. Now, I'm not telling you to disregard your feelings because if you've dealt with anxiety, trying to push it down or push it to the back of your head, that doesn't work very well. So don't disregard your feelings. Just understand that, okay, this is just anxiety. I'm going to be fine. And you need to know that regardless of the outcome, Maybe you gotta get up and give a presentation in front of a group of people and you're just terrified and you're getting yourself all worked up. Well, you know what? Regardless of the outcome, whether you knock it out of the park or whether you fall flat on your ass, it has no impact on who you are as a human being. We get so focused on these things that are really just brief moments of time in our lives. Don't let yourself get worked up about that. Maybe you're getting yourself freaked out about having to go sit on an airplane. Well, you know what? Even if it's a long flight, it's still really, in the big picture, that's such a brief moment of time out of your life. Why on earth let that control you? Just stop, take some deep breaths, and remember this is only temporary. The airplane thing. So years ago, a couple years ago, I had gone to Anchorage with my friend Shelby, and we were flying back. We're on what I consider a little puddle jumper plane. It's not by Alaskan standards. I'm sorry, my eye is itchy. But it wasn't a jet. It was a twin prop, and the single. I think it was just one seat. I don't know. There wasn't very many damn people, and it didn't hold very many. It was a little plane, and I didn't have any anxiety meds. And the little planes, as you're going over the Alaska Range, it gets pretty bouncy. And I was sitting directly across from the stewardess. And I'm sitting there with my eyes closed, and I've got a meditation track on it. Every time that plane would drop enough to freak me out, my eyes would fly open and I'd stare at this stewardess. And she was so calm and serene. And it had nothing to do with me. That's just who I freaking hate my internet service provider. But she had no idea that I was literally anchoring my emotions to her. But as soon as I would feel that panic really start, oh my gosh, I'd open my eyes and I'd look at her, and that just her just rock steady demeanor. She didn't care at all that we were bound a little bit like we were at the end of a yo-yo string. And that really helped me. And I knew it was only temporary. That flight's not that long. And going over the mountain range isn't very long. That's it's an even less window of time. Number two, focus on your inner being. Learn the signs, learn what your symptoms are, because there's a lot of symptoms and things, everything impacts us differently. For me, what I really notice is the racing unwanted thoughts and the heart thing. When my heart rate starts getting really weird, that's when I know I'm starting to really struggle with anxiety. So I've learned how to head it off at the pass. I've learned how to stop it before it gets out of control. So you need to find your tools. Maybe it's a mantra. You know what one of my mantras is? It says really silly and cheesy, but it works. And it doesn't matter how damn silly it is. If it works for you and it's something that I can remember, it's something that it's short, just keep swimming. What's funny about that is I do not swim. I can, but I don't swim. I'm 100 and some odd miles from the Arctic Circle, door to door. I'm not interested our water here is too cold to swim in. And with this hair, I have no interest in a chlorine pool. So I don't swim. But just keep swimming. When things get really rough for me, it's just keep swimming. Just keep swimming because I know it's only temporary. Keep I just totally lost my train of thought. Gosh, damn it. I was hoping not to do this after last week. You know what? I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety, which is why we're talking about this. I am getting ready to go spend the winter in Texas, and it's a huge thing. And I'll be honest, I'm scared out of my mind, but I'm also really excited and I'm full of hope. I haven't had hope regarding my health situation in quite some time, but I've been told for years and years and years, get out of these winters. It's going to make a big difference for you. So I have an incredible opportunity this year. I get to work remotely from Texas. Thank goodness for big projects that they really need me on. Or I wouldn't be given this opportunity, I'm sure. But they're allowing me to work remotely from Texas. So I get to go test this out in really the most risk-free way possible. But that being said, I'm very anxious. It's brand new. I've been here for so long. My home is here. My family is here. My life is here. And I'm willing to just throw everything into upheaval to go see what happens if I go outside for the winter. That's what we call y'all. All of y'all in the lower 48 are outside. But find your tools, whether it be mantras, deep breathing. That's one I like to use at the airport because I can sit somewhere and unless I make an issue of it, nobody knows. I just slow down my breathing. I try to inhale for 4 and exhale for 4. You guys, breathing alone, it's amazing what that can do for you when you are an anxious, uptight human being, which, okay, I'm not proud of it, but I'll own that. I can be very freaking uptight. But breathing exercises will make in fact, I think I'm going to talk about breathing soon. I've always hesitated to talk about it because it kind of feels like, yep, there's something else you're doing wrong, but it does make a huge difference. But whether it be mantras, whatever your tools is, mantras, deep breathing tools are gracious. Have those ready and know your inner being. Focus on your inner being so that you can feel those symptoms the second that they start. It's a lot easier to stop it from getting out of control than to try to rein it back in once it's exploded into, well, frankly, madness because it really gets crazy. Number 3, if you want to deal with anxiety, you've got to learn to tell your inner critic to shove it. What you say to yourself matters. It's everything. Those of us of a certain age will remember the old Canon camera commercials. Attitude is everything. It is. It really is. In fact, Saturday, I'm a little all over the place, but you guys, my regulars know me. My new people, sorry, you'll get used to it. Maybe, but Saturday, I went out with 3 ladies that I work with, and seriously, it was one of the best days I've had in a very long time. And I got home and I was like, oh, man, this sucks. I finally really have a solid group of women and I'm leaving. But then I thought, what you say to yourself matters. And I turned that around and I thought, this is an incredible glimpse into what my life could be like if I can get a grip on my health situation. And so because I chose to tell myself a more positive aspect, and which that is, it's a very true aspect. I wasn't making anything up. I wasn't blowing smoke up my own backside. That's a fact. If I get a handle on this, I can have days like that quite often. That's obviously a better way to look at it than to sit there and, oh gosh, this sucks. Because you know what? All that was doing was making my anxiety about going that much bigger. You need to remember it's your choice. It's our choice whether we're going to feel stressed or empowered in any given situation. Something really cool that I learned a long time ago from a mentor, being nervous, being anxious, it's really similar to being excited on a physiological level. So, like when I'm sitting at an airport waiting for a flight, instead of, oh my God, this is seriously how I used to travel. I have to survive so many takeoffs and landings to make it home safely. Well, how do you think my flights went when that was my attitude? So now when I catch myself getting into that, oh my gosh state, instead of going down the rabbit trail of we're all going to die in that stupid little silver capsule, I focus on, you know what? I am so gosh damn excited. I get to go on this trip and I get to hang out with my friends and we're going to go do all these cool things because how you talk to yourself matters. And you know what's helpful? Keep quotes, affirmations and stuff like that. Keep them in your phone because then if you're in a situation, keep them in your favorites folder, somewhere where you can pull them up easily. But then when you're in a difficult situation and you catch yourself starting down that trail, you've got something you can anchor your thoughts to. Tip number 4, if you want to really start dealing with your anxiety, you need to get healthy. I know you don't want to hear it, but too bad. It's important. As someone who destroyed her health, y'all need to take care of your damn selves. You do not want to end up, let me be your cautionary tale. You do not want to end up in my situation. But you need to get healthy. Exercise is going to reduce stress. It builds your confidence. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. You know what else you need to do? You got to worry about your nutrition. It matters. Yes, it matters regarding your anxiety. excuse me, foods high in vitamin B help keep anxiety at bay, like beef, chicken, leafy greens, nuts, citrus. And you know what? That's all healthy food. Cut out the crap. Don't pile a bunch of junk food down your throat when you're going into an anxiety inducing situation and expect everything to be fine. That food's going to have an impact on you. No, obviously, eating healthy, that's not just a one and done thing. You need to do it not just before you go to something. You really want to have a lasting impact on your anxiety. You need to clean up your diet overall, which there's like seriously a billion reasons you should clean up your diet. Part of getting healthy is your sleep. This is a big challenge for me because I do wake up with I have insomnia. It's when you hurt so that you're completely exhausted. I call it whoop toddler mode. I'm so freaking tired I can hardly hold my head up. Then I lay down and my whole body locks up. And how the hell do you think I can sleep when all my muscles are tight? Or even more fun, I'll be sound asleep and then I'll wake up in tremendous pain. Lately, I've been waking up with a lot of anxiety and then I'll talk myself off of that ledge, and then the pain kicks in. Why? Because I just allowed myself to get too stressed, and all that goes hand in hand. So if you have anxiety keeping you awake at night, you really should keep a journal. A journal is, in my very humble opinion, it's the cheapest form of therapy out there. Keep a little notebook next to your bed. And I like to write in mine at night and get my day off my chest. But journal. Get You want to process all these feelings that you're dealing with, you need to face them. Journaling is a good way to do that. You can try yoga or tai chi. You can learn to meditate. All those things are going to help you with your anxiety and they're going to help you sleep better. You know what else is going to help you sleep better? And I'll own this all day. I do not do this even though I know all the reasons why I should. Shut it down. Turn off your electronics. That means the TV as well. You should shut it down about an hour before you go to bed. The blue light that our phones and everything, and that our phones, our computers, our I believe our TVs, they really mess with your circadian rhythm. You don't need that before you go to bed. So you should shut it down about an hour before you go to bed. I probably shut mine down close to I'd say it's at least 30 minutes because my nightly routine, I make a cup of dream tea from Tao Teas. Zao I'm not sure. I can't remember the damn company name, but it's really yummy. And I make a cup of tea and I get my John Maxwell book out and that journal, which I have like the most honking fat journal for that. Um, but I do that work. And then I pray for 5 minutes after I'm done with that. And then I go in and I write in my journal. So by the time all that's said and done, it's a good 30 minutes that I've had my electronics off. Um, And I did talk I've mentioned this before, but I've talked to a shrink about it because I was like, "Well, I go on to, like, YouTube and I find a meditation or I'll put on a book on Audible to help me fall asleep." And he said, "That's fine, it's very different because I'm on there with a purpose. I'm not just mindlessly scrolling social media. So, if you wanna do that, that's okay, but make sure you're not scrolling YouTube for a long time looking for your meditation." Finally, number 5 tip for dealing with anxiety: never, ever, under any circumstances, give your power away to anyone or to any situation. When I used to let myself get so freaked out about flying, I was not in control of myself at that point. I had given my power away to my fears. That's so crazy. And it's a choice. It's not always easy to recognize that, but it is a choice. You need to learn to oh, this is so hard for me. But you need to learn to let go of what you can't control. What the hell are you gonna do about it? You can't control it, so why get yourself all spun up? Now, I know that's easier said than done, but you know what's helpful for that? A journal. I'm just saying. The last thought I wanna leave you with on this, I know I can get really caught up in other people's opinions, and I can often allow that to fill me with angst and anxiety, but you know what? What other people think of me, it's none of my business, and frankly, it's not my problem. The people who don't like me, who gives a shit? All that means is my time is freed up to spend it with the people that I like and the people who do respect me and appreciate me. Other people's opinions only carry as much weight as we choose to allow them to have. It's what you think. That's what matters. Don't worry about it. I know it's easier said than done, but quit worrying about other people. Because you know what? Most other people, they're worried about other people as well. So, and what's that saying? If you knew how seldom other people thought of you, you'd really be offended. It's true. Everybody's caught up in their own bullshit. Most people aren't thinking about you as much as you'd like to think they are. Anyway, anyway, I have so much to do. Um, it's horrifyingly overwhelming because my modus operandus when I get really stressed is to shut down and not do anything. And that's obviously not very productive, but I'm going to have to get off my ass because my flight leaves. In fact, this time in a week, I'll be on my airplane getting ready to go to Texas. So hope you guys have a great night. Best place to find me on social media is on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. Y'all have a great night. I will be back Wednesday at 5 o'clock.